we are allowing for that space. And I think the question answers also, sort of seek to underline all of that, the different opinions and the different spaces that we seek to come from. I just wanted to mention that a little bit, and then I'm going to hand over to Ravi now again.
I love the poetry in English that I don't understand so much of the modern law. But we'll do that. There is a connection, and that connection is simply this: that poetry is about vulnerabilities, emotions. All imperfect, we're all vulnerable, but we all live together. And let poetry does its own thing. Just briefly, Sanju, if you could. Just give some tips to what they could and could not do. I don't know if English poetry, at least with the kind that will lend itself to the kind of responses that happened, as you said, in the Mushiara and the poetry. But if you could just speak a little bit about that.
Thank you, Ravi. And because there is this common culture of Mushiara, which has been used with English poetry, तो मुशायरे की अपनी एक तहजीब होती है, अपना एक मिजाज होता है. तो बस मैं उसको थोड़ा सा नज़रसानी कर दूँगा. आप ज़रूरी नहीं, वो मैं बता ही रहा हूँ आपको, लेकिन ज़रूरी नहीं है कि दिस फिट्स इनटू दैट बिल. सो यू कैन एक्सरसाइज योर चॉइस, बट आई विल जस्ट टेल यू कि मुशायरे का मिजाज और उसकी तहजीब क्या होती है. तो अगर वो कुछ हो सकता है तो आप खुद ही देख लीजिएगा. एंड आई वुड लाइक my writer's friend to be more liberal and generous if there is response at a wrong place or something. तो मुशायरे में ज़्यादा तो गज़लें पढ़ी जाती हैं, नज़में भी पढ़ी जाती हैं. तो गज़ल का जो नौयत है वो नज़म से बिल्कुल अलग है. गज़ल में कुछ कपलेट्स होते हैं, शेर होते हैं. हर शेर के दो मिसरे होते हैं. उसमें जो पहला मिसरा होता है उसको मिसरा ऊला बोलते हैं, और दूसरा मिसरा है वो मिसरा सानी होता है. द नेम इटसेल्फ एक्सप्लेन्स टू यू द नॉमेनक्लेचर कि मिसरा ऊला जो है वो इट सेट्स द टोन, और मिसरा सानी जो है वो उस टोन को एड्रेस करके उसको कल्बिनेट कर देता है, क्लाइमेक्स कर देता है उसका. तो इट इज़ लाइक द मिसरा ऊला जो पहला सेंटेंस है कपलेट का, वो एक सवाल की तरह भी हो सकता है, वो एक टोन सेट कर सकता है, एक सिचुएशन. इट विल जस्ट अराइज अ सिचुएशन एंड द सेकंड सेंटेंस रिस्पॉन्ड्स टू दैट. और वो जब सेकंड रिस्पॉन्ड करता है तो उसमें इट इज़ इम्पेरेटिव फॉर दैट सेकंड सेंटेंस टू हैव सम एलिमेंट ऑफ एपिफनी. इट सेज समथिंग. अगर पहला मिसरा आप सुनेंगे तो यू वुड, आई मीन बिकॉज ऑफ रन ऑफ द मिल शायरी में कोई नई बात नहीं की जाती, पर हर बात जो है उन्हें अंदाज से की जाती है. तो पहले सेंटेंस को एड्रेस करता हुआ जो दूसरा सेंटेंस है वो इस तरह से कहना पड़ेगा, इस अंदाज से कि उसमें कोई रेवलेशन हो, उसमें कोई एलिमेंट ऑफ एपिफनी हो, और वो एक फिर आई कैन विद ड्यू अपॉलजीज कॉल इट पोएटिक ऑर्गेज़्म. तो फिर वो वाह की आवाज़ आती है, वाह वाह निकलता है, क्या बात है, इस तरह की हम दाद देते हैं उसमें. और ये भी ज़रूरी होता है कि जो पहला मिसरा है कई बार बिकॉज इट्स अ बिल्ड अप, द फर्स्ट सेंटेंस इज बिल्ड अप. So a poet would repeat that 2 or 3 times, and not only poet, even audience जो हैं वो हम उसे कहते हैं कि मिसरा उठाइए. So even if poet is not repeating it, तो audience उसको repeat करती है, तो उनकी तरफ से वो बोला जाता है. तो they build up. पहला मिसरा जो है sentence, it is spoken 2 or 3 times to create that build up, and finally as a response to that build up you have that moment of epiphany in the second sentence. तो ये गज़ल का अपना एक मिजाज है. तो उसमें गज़ल में जितने भी कपलेट्स हैं दे कुड फॉलो द सेम थिंग, पर ईच कपलेट है उसका अपनी एक नेचर हो सकती है. इट डजंट हैव टू नेसेसरली रिलेट टू द नेक्स्ट कपलेट. वो ज़रूरी नहीं है. हर गज़ल के हर कपलेट्स जो हैं 5, 7 या 9 वो इंडिपेंडेंट, नॉर्मली इट्स इन ऑड नंबर्स गज़ल के जितने कपलेट्स होते हैं, और वो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो एक दूसरे से रिलेट करें. ज़रूरी बस ये है कि उसका जो काफिया है वो मिलना चाहिए, राइमिंग होनी चाहिए, और रिदीफ होती है उसकी डिटेल में नहीं जाते, राइमिंग होना चाहिए. पहला जो शेर होता है उसमें फर्स्ट शेर में हमेशा दोनों जो सेंटेंसेस हैं वो राइमिंग होने चाहिए. नेक्स्ट कपलेट्स में आपका पहला सेंटेंस राइमिंग की ज़रूरत नहीं है. दूसरा सेंटेंस जो है पहले 2 सेंटेंसेस ने जो राइम सेट किया है पहले शेर में वो उसको फॉलो करता है। तो ये गज़ल का मिजाज है। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि हर कपलेट जो है वो अपने आप में कंप्लीट होता है। इट इज़ ए कंप्लीट थिंग इन इटसेल्फ। सो यू कुड आफ्टर ए कपलेट गेट्स कंप्लीटेड एंड देन यू कैन गिव दाद, और आप वाह वाह कर सकते हैं और क्या बात है कर सकते हैं, मुकर्रर कर सकते हैं, अगर बहुत अच्छा लगा भी दोबारा सुनाइए। नज़्म का मिजाज थोड़ा अलग होता है, विच आई फील इज़ मोर अकिन टू इंग्लिश पोइट्री। नज़्म में ऐसा कोई कायदा नहीं होता है कि जिसमें ये इट हैज़ टू बी सेट इन दिस फिक्स्ड और वेरी रिजिड फ्रेमवर्क। तो वो ओपन नज़्म भी हो सकती है, नज़्म में राइम भी हो सकता है, लेकिन वो इस तरह का इतना स्ट्रिक्ट फॉलो नहीं करती है रिजीम जो गज़ल की है। तो नज़्म को जो है वो आप सांस रोक के सुनते हैं, आप उसके बीच में, बिकॉज इट हैज़ अ थीमेटिक कॉन्टिन्यूटी, सो यू डोंट डिसरप्ट इट, आप उसको खामोशी से जज्ब करते हैं और बिल्कुल एंड में आके देन यू रिस्पॉन्ड टू इट और यू कैन क्लैप ऑन इट और वॉट एवर यू वांट टू डू। तो नज़्म का मिजाज इस तरह गज़ल से अलग है। अब आई डोंट नो हाउ आवर राइटर फ्रेंड्स, पोएट फ्रेंड्स आर गोइंग टू डू, उनका राइमिंग कपलेट्स में है, ओपन में है। तो अगर वो नज़्म का मिजाज है तो आप आराम से सुनिए सांस रोक के। लंबी नज़्म है तो बीच में सांस ले भी लीजिएगा। वो तो अगर राइमिंग कपलेट है तो आप मतलब हम वाह वाह करते हैं, आप वाओ वाओ कर सकते हैं और अंग्रेजी में, बट इट इज़ अप टू योर सेंसिबिलिटीज बिकॉज इट इज़ कम्प्लीटली बीइंग डन फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम। इट इज़ अ न्यू जॉनर एंड यू डिसाइड if you want to do it, and I would only request my poet friends to be generous about it. लेकिन अगर नज़्म है वो तो फिर आप आराम से सुनिए, फिर बीच में डिस्टर्ब मत कीजिए। So I think that's it.
तो my guess is that नज़्म ही होंगी
जी
सारी,
जी
गज़ल तो मुझे तो I don't know. So what we will do is we'll start from here with Mamang Gai, who is poet and a novelist. I don't know if your first book was your first book of poems or was it a poem? So the first book was book of poems. The one that I have read is River Poems as a collection. I have read poems from other collections, but River Poems is one that I have read cover to cover, as I say. I have worked with Mabang for I think about 17-18 years now, and most recently at Speaking Time we published a book of linked stories called Legends of Penside. This was back in 2005, 6 or 7, 6, and after that Stupid Cupid, which Shiny started reading some years ago and hasn't forgotten, and she has been looking for the book since. It isn't printed, you can find it. I looked it up on Amazon. And most recently here, and when I was at Radif, her novel Black Hill, which won the Sahitya Academy Award. And most recently, we released at Speaking Tiger her novel Escaping the Land, a vast epic novel about the Nepal days and about the making of Arunachal Pradesh, and also its contemporary politics and history. But she's here as a poet today, so Mamang, over to you. I see you've got river poems. So we don't need to exhaust all the poems that we have in one. So I'd say you can read 2 or 3 if you feel that they're long ones. Maybe you can read 2 and then we'll come back later. But I see they're short ones. So short ones you can read.
No, it's just a random selection. Good evening, everyone.
Yeshama.
Oh.
These are also the ingredients of Mushiara.
No, you don't have to do anything. This means that you now start.
Very respectful, thinking about remembrance and poetry, what it means. So I think all poetry has its kind of music and meaning, and the ways we express them may be different. So I'll just read a little short poem. This is what I love writing, remembrance. How sad it is, remembrance, the warm sweat of... If you're going to stare at me like that, I'm not going to turn around.
Okay, sorry.
How sad it is, remembrance, the warm sweat of the seasons, the narrow boats of grief, a white moon, my dream of a songbird, a songbird in the garden. The river, do not stay too long by the river. The river is a wayward god. It is an elephant, a lion. Sometimes they call it horse. One summer we thought it was a peacock turning in the yellow dust that filled our eyes with gold. I saw a woman floating in a lily pond, in a mountain of mist, wrapped in a cloud streaming with tendrils and pollen dust. I thought, the river is a woman, a country, a name, a note of music trapped in the white current, a sheet of paper carrying a secret map. The skyline is where it begins, between the darkness and the summit, in the birthplace of thirst. Do not stay too long by the river. It is a drowning spirit, a strong-armed god, drawing and withdrawing such seasons, flowing river, standing still, river sea, river ocean, river of all our summers, collecting the salt of our lives. Just one more. These are all from river poems published, and one is from Midsummer Survival Lyrics. This one I'm going to read now. They are talking about hunger. They are saying there is an unquenchable fire burning in our hearts. My love, what shall I do? I am thinking how I may lose you to war and big issues more important than me. Life is so hard like this. Nobody knows why. It is like fire. It is like rainwater, sand, glass. What will I do, my love, if my reflection disappears? They are talking about a place where rice flows on the streets, about a place where there is gold in the leaves of trees. They are talking about displacement when the opium poppy was growing, dizzy in the sun, happy in a state of believing. And they are talking about escape, about liberty, men and guns. Ah, the urgency for survival. But what will they do, not knowing the sorrow of women?
Shiny, over to you. Shiny, again, I mean, I know of you as a novelist and a short story writer too. But the book that we published, Chinese, which was about roughly 4 years ago, 3 years ago, The Girl Who Couldn't Love, which is out there, and it's a very powerful, intense book, and I hope some of you will pick it up and read it. Shani, I haven't read your poems, but then as you said, you don't have conventional poems which you've written. So she says that she describes her verse, if you can call it that, as the spoken word. And she shared some of that with me last night, which I read this morning. I thought that was quite very powerful, intense, and extraordinary. So over to you, Shani.
So maybe pass the Shiva to...
Over to you.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
I have to pass it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fake.
It's an English Mushiara.
Playing out in the
It is all fake.
Okay. Are you all right?
I do have the
Once upon a time, there was no time, no once. Just he and me, a good man, a bad woman, naked and curious, just dying to know. But before that was a snake and a fruit. Apple, I think.
Louder.
Do you hear till now?
Yeah.
I'm Eve, the world's first woman, fresh off the boat, chromosome XX. And Adam, too busy tracking water, rubbing stones for fire. No TV, no Wi-Fi. We get bored, I miss a period. And then I died. I became a ghost. A female ghost. The world's first female ghost. Breasts, smoke rings, uterus, water vapor. I was just hanging around and I saw a man bash a woman with her own baby. I moved close, I moved closer. I breathed in, she breathed out. I raised a hand, up came hers. She, me, we hit in heart. No one sees me. They see only the meek woman with years of nodding behind her. On moonless nights, I placed words on girl tongues, fighting words. But enough about me, we ghosts have work to do. You there, open your gourd. Let me coat your sweet little tongue with dissent. Come, my beautiful descendant. We have a note to say. Okay, the last part? Enough about me, we ghosts have work to do. You there, open your gourd. Let me coat your sweet little tongue with dissent. Come, my beautiful descendant. We have a note to say. Thank you. This one is called words. Where do they go? Can you hear me now?
Put the mic closer to you.
Just take it out.
Same was the case with Ravi.
You couldn't hear my
Now,
first
now
one?
it's better.
Now it's much better.
Shall I say the first one again?
Because
Why not?
mukarrar.
I am heard now?
Yes.
Once upon a time, there was no time, no ones, just he and me, a good man, a bad woman, naked and curious, just dying to know. But before that was a snake and a fruit, apple, I think. I'm Eve, the world's first woman, fresh off the boat, chromosome XX. And Adam, too busy tracking water, rubbing stones for fire. No TV, no Wi-Fi. We get bored, I miss a period. And then I died. I became a ghost, the world's first female ghost. Breasts, smoke rings, uterus, water vapor. I was just hanging around when I saw a man bash a woman with her own baby. I moved closer. I breathed in, she breathed out. I raised a hand, up came hers. She, me, we hit in heart. No one sees me. They see only the meek woman with years of nodding behind her. On moonless nights, I paced words on girl tongues, fighting words. But enough about me, we ghosts have work to do. You there, open your gourd. Let me coat your sweet little tongue with dissent. Come, my beautiful descendant, we have a note to say. Thank you. Where do they go? Words no one wants, no one uses anymore. When fathers die and mothers don't remember. All the love words and forever words, when the mouth moves on to other words, other people. 1,000 secrets make the body a bow, but the arrow shot from its mouth is always a word. Lies men tell women to get them into bed. Lies women tell the men they cheat. Old yellowing letters at the bottom of a trunk. 50-pound weakling words that get sand kicked on their face. Words totally reversible, I do, because no one does, not for long. Words that jump from behind a sofa screaming, surprise! And words that jam your hands on the wheel long after the lights turn green. And words you hear between your legs, Words trilingual, virgins on wedding nights, lamps after genies leave, a finger drawing in the vapor of a window pane, like a prayer prayed to listening gods. An old man holding his wife's hand in dementia, the sound of nothing to say, like one mouth kissing. Small talk, big talk, dirty talk, pillow talk, baby talk, sleep talk, bilateral talks. We have ways to make you talk. We need to talk. Hello? Your voice is breaking. Did I just say what I just said? I don't know how to say this. I will say this just once. Isn't something I said? Don't say it, don't say it. Say something. Say anything. You don't talk to me anymore. No one talks to me that way. No one. Thanks.
To Jerry, who, the first, one of the first books that he wrote, and then for a long time, when he would send his biographical note, even though he'd written 3 or 4 books by then, always started with Jerry Pinto, is a poet, and then the rest. Sorry.
Mike is not good. Mike, keep your focus.
Just hold it,
Yeah. What? This one is not working.
perhaps.
So what I was saying was that for a long time, Jerry, even after he'd written at least 3 or 4 books, his biographical note that he would send would start with Jerry Pinto is a Bombay-based poet, and then the rest of the descriptions, a novelist, etc., etc. He is, really one of our finest, most distinctive writers. M in the Big Room, which is out there, is now a modern classic. Murder in Mayhem redefined in many ways, at least gave new direction to the detective fiction in India. His book on Helen, absolutely delightful. The original idea was for it to be a biography of Helen, but he couldn't meet her, she didn't meet anybody, which is just as well, because then it turned out to be an examination of Helen as a phenomena, and it was also a study of Bollywood, about this idea of a vamp, etc., and it's completely fascinating. And I'm delighted that we will be reissuing it as a speedy title book. I published it when I was in Penguin, and that got the National Award for the Best Writing in Cinema, and in the Big Room got the Crossword Hindu Lyndon Campbell Prize Science Academy Award. And Berlin Mahan was shortlisted for the Crossword and got the Valley Awards Award. So many honors he's had, but he still, I think, in his heart, thinks of himself first as a poet. And we published 2 of his books of poetry recently. Asylum, which was first published in 2002, and the new one, which has this wonderful title, I Want a Poem and Other Poems. We will be reading from these and perhaps even new poems, and then there is this lovely book for children called Tickle Me, Go Tickle Me, poems of children, which you and I would love. So, Jerry, over to you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Preeti, for having me here. I wanted to say thank you to the Punjabi people for the wonderful demonstration of solidarity for farmers that you put up outside Delhi. I wanted to say thank you to Sarabjot for that beautiful poem that he read, still at some cost to himself. It reminded us, I think, that poets are the unacknowledged legislators, as Shelley said. Remember the reason why that preamble, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. It is poetry. A nation is built around poetry, around its anthems, around its songs, around its prayers even. And so, despite the fact that we started by talking about how we are a religious nation with a secular constitution, I'm going to be brave and start with a prayer. A narrative. Show me the point at which I should begin. Stop me when I have said as much as I should. Regulate my voice. I boom too much, and my whispers are shrill. Feed me words on those long, slow afternoons. Allow me the grace of serendipity to find lost continents on my tongue. Give me the gift of silence and then set me adrift. Thank you. In my family, there was an anti-national who was taken away one day from his family. And I remember at that point looking at his 8-year-old son's face. It was the face of a boy that did not understand what was going on. And this is for him. They took Papa away in a car. They took Papa away in the car. They took him at 4 in the morning. They've taken him somewhere far, where the words don't rhyme. Because everything gets stuck in my throat. And I want to cry, but I can't. Nani does all the crying. Ma doesn't cry. She pulls her lips into her face and goes to court every day. I don't ask to go with her. I didn't ask, because I asked Nani once, why did they take Papa? And she said, do you want to kill me, beta? I don't want to kill Nani. I only want to know where Papa is. Left side auntie said, good children don't ask questions. Right side auntie said, did he think he was going to change the world? So I don't ask questions. And I swallow hard. And I wait for the time the words will rhyme again. This is a slightly longer poem, and I think I wanted to read it because it was a little about the way we are, all of us. It's called Incident at Chira Bazaar, and it is based on something that actually happened to me and a friend of mine when we were walking together through Chira Bazaar. We walked along the road running river, but the current was too strong. All around there were people like us, nice people whose niceness flashed at us like dark dorsal fins rising out of the foam. A creek appeared, sluggish backwater that promised the sedation of tea. We found it skewered to a wall by faith and lampblack. Across from it there was a saint and a shrine and a bench. You opened your packet of farsan. I groped in my bag of conversation. But it was the drunkard who found names for us, Baby and Raju. He had had too much today, Raju, and he knew it. Lost his bag, his slippers, his foothold in the river. He has a room, baby. He has a room and 4 children, Raju. If I meet him tomorrow, he'll show me. Only today, Raju. Today is different. He's not after my wife, Raju. He has his own. Hey, baby, hey, I'm not after you. His voice rises. The community of the Chillam is hospitable, laid back and willing to pass it twice more. They are slow, but they know what they are about. There are uncertain hierarchies here on the margin. The community of the Chillam is hospitable. They rise to prove it. They welcome us by slapping the man. Stand him up, slap him again, again. They are slow, chimney smoke on a winter morning, but fast enough for him. One push will do it. One push does it. The man falls, strikes his head against the wall, freeze frame for blood. Nothing. He lies there, dazed, waiting. The community coagulates again. Blue gauze veils descend on them. The man folds his body, abases his forehead, weeps softly and wails. We finish our tea, abandon our farsan to well-fed puppies, tan and black. They are plump with trust and the stale bread from the first floor. We plunge towards the welcoming river, where people glide past, people like us, streamlined people. We avoid each other's eyes. And then I catch a glimpse of my knife in your rust-flecked armor, and I say, He started it.
So I thought, we do like this, the three poets, and then now Sarabjot will read. Well, the idea was fusion, so there's extending the idea of fusion. He will read a translation of Asha's poem, is it? Lal Singh, yes. And then after that, a translation of Maya Angelou's thing into Hindustani. And then we will do another round with these three poets.
So first poem is by Lal Singh Dill. He used to write. Who used to write? Is it okay? It's okay. This is a poem by Lal Singh Dill, who used to write a lot on farmers' issues, and all the Punjabis are well aware of his poetry. So this is Punjabi ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਖੁੱਲੀ ਕਵਿਤਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, a poem that doesn't have a rhyme, but it has been translated by Gina, who has given me the violin today. So interestingly, when we started talking about the Mushiara part of it, she has translated it into a rhyme. So it is an example of just translating the sensibilities of the poem. It is not word-to-word translation, but then she has converted. Normally, the English poetry doesn't. I mean, it does. Classical poetry does follow the principles of rhyming. So she's tried to do it in that manner. So what I'll do is I'll just read a few initial lines by Lal Singh Dill, so that you can relate, not the whole poem, but only the few initial lines, so that you can relate what has been translated in what way. So it's in Punjabi first. Fauji ਗੱਡੀ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਦੱਸਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ, ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਦੂਰ ਮੈਥੋਂ ਦੌੜਦੇ, ਚਿਹਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੀ ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਭਾਂਪਦੇ, ਹਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣ ਨੂੰ, ਭੀੜਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਛੱਡੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਨਕਸ਼ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਿ ਪਿਓ ਬੇਵਸ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਪੈੜ ਥੱਲੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ. So this is how it goes. This is sentimental poem for this. So now I'm reading translation by Gina Singh, which is: Hey friends, sitting in the army carriage, your faces and uniforms convey you were recruited to leave the very same day. Going far from me and farther away, trying to read the shock on my face, yes, I have something to say. Oh friends, leaving the flocks behind, your faces tell the story of helpless fathers, living lives unfair, unkind, of mothers scared beasts of burden, dying slowly of daily grind. If you're a farmer, then it must be so. You're leaving your ancestral fields after selling them off. Or maybe, as usual, a policeman so vain, scattered on road, wears of your elder brother again. You're going to save mills. Adieu. Mills where human mincemeat is churned to butter, and workers' hides are tanned, but for a pittance in lieu. How shall you, my friends, march? How shall you, my friends, march with backs straight like rosewood bark, the bark, the sides of which, while chopping, mothers are rudely made to disembark? You are going to defend palaces, adieu. Very palaces where during wars, Profiteers gleefully every night waltz. You are going to defend borders, adieu. These skirmishes are the lifeline of treaties new. Or maybe you are going somewhere, my friends, unaware, to places where shining bayonets are raised on hungry masses because they are a threat, where straw huts are set on fire, heaping on earth the rich man's ire, but where every village set aflame turns into many earths not to be tamed, where not only dense jungles, but even delicate tea leaves turn into deadly weapons. You are going, but you do not know. So, translation of Maya Angelou's poem. It's a very well-known poem, Phenomenon, Woman, by Maya Angelou. So here also I would just read the first few lines in English to give you a sense of where it is going, and then I will read the whole Hindustani translation of it. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it is in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. So now the translation part of it. लाजवाब औरत. नाज़नी सब हैरान हैं कि आखिर क्या है राज़े हुस्न मेरा. ना मैं छुई हुई, ना ही नाज़नीनों सा तराशा हुआ बदन मेरा. पर जब मैं बताती हूँ उनको, वो समझते हैं ये महज है वहम मेरा. मैं बताती हूँ कि ये मेरी बाहों के पसार में है, मेरे कुल्हों की मिहराब में है, मेरे कदमों के इज़्तिराब में है, मेरे लबों की लर्जिश में है. औरत हूँ मैं, करिश्माए कुदरत हूँ मैं, लाजवाब औरत. हाँ, वो मैं ही. जब भी होता है मेरा महफिल में आना, लेकर अपना अंदाज मस्ताना, रूबरू मर्दों के शाना बशाना, अहले बज़्म अपने कदमों पे होते हैं या फिर घुटनों पे होते हैं. भंवरों की मानिंद मेरे इर्द गिर्द तवाफ करते हैं. तवाफ परिक्रमा. भंवरों की मानिंद मेरे इर्द गिर्द तवाफ करते हैं. मैं बताती हूँ ये मेरी आंखों की दहक है, ये मेरी मुस्कुराहट की चमक है, मेरी कमर की लचक है, मेरे कदमों की मचक है. औरत हूँ मैं, करिश्माए कुदरत हूँ मैं, लाजवाब औरत. हाँ, वो मैं ही. मर्द अक्सर ये सोचते हैं कि मुझ में क्या नजर आता है उन्हें. सर खुजाते हैं मगर छू नहीं पाते हैं मेरे राज़े रूहे बातिन को. बावजूद बताने के भी बज़ाहिर नहीं होता, उन पे मेरा ये राज नाज़िर नहीं होता. मैं बताती हूँ कि ये मेरी पीठ की कमान में है, मेरी मुस्कुराहट की ताब में है, मेरी छातियों के उफान में है, मेरी अदाओ मेरे अंदाज में है. औरत हूँ मैं, करिश्माए कुदरत हूँ मैं, लाजवाब औरत. हाँ, वो मैं ही हूँ. अब तक आप जान चुके हैं कि क्यों मेरा सर निगू नहीं, क्यों मैं नाला गर बेसकूं नहीं. मुझे बोलना नहीं पड़ता बुलंद आवाज से. जब तुम देखो मुझे पास से गुजरते हुए, तो तुम्हारे सर बेनियाज उठे नाज से. मैं बताती हूँ कि ये मेरी एड़ियों की चटक में है, मेरी जुल्फ की लाम लटक में है, मेरे हाथों की लकीरों में है, मेरे ज़ौक़ की ताबीरों में है. क्योंकि औरत हूँ मैं, करिश्माए कुदरत हूँ मैं, लाजवाब औरत. हाँ, वो मैं ही.
And especially nice in a male voice also.
So, Maman, a couple of points of view, and then we will. Then Mushiara, क्या होगा?
At the top.
Oh, you want this thing?
Would I have watched for that dragon boat rising on the horizon, or watched the gulls flying salt lines in the air, written another love poem, making waves? Across the wild bay, ancient cities are calling, resounding with history, men and metal, armor, ships. If we had turned that way, stepping on a stone bridge, another poem might have been written with our names inscribed on the old walls of moon and stars. Domes and minarets, terracotta, a flowering almond in the garden we left behind, with fountains gushing water out of stone lips, feeding calla lilies. And if I live in the mountains, the days are the same, breathing the slow mist, slow arrangement of possibilities. The river imagines it will meet the sea. That piece of mountain, drops of water from a stream, beating in our hearts, floating in our veins. Pray it is buoyant. And this one is Floating Island.
If we have silence, we make hello, silence.
This is me going away, Floating Island. The sloping to the deep, into the sea green, navigating on a heartbeat, the lilies are shooting up like swordfish, and the woman is laughing, laughing.
As breath exits a body, you enter my room. I don't turn around, but I see the length of your eyelash, your palm out to catch me like a raindrop. Your mouth in my hair in your mouth. I have licked my hair to taste what you taste. Your tongue tastes of tempests. I look at you, you're looking right back, and the silence, with the silence of not a word from you, not a word from me. If death took me now, if death took me now, I would know not. She had often heard people say FO, but never really studied how someone actually fucked off. So undocumented and little known, this act of fucking off. She relied on intuition and gut feeling to go with the flow of FO.
Into the life of a writer and a poet, literary festivals happen, and this was a literary festival that happened in Dubai. And I was put into a room that I could not believe I was entitled to. It was at the Hotel Crown Plaza, and so this poem is my hotel room at the Crown Plaza, Dubai, with thanks to the Dubai Literary Festival that put me there. I love my hotel room. It was not designed for me, I know. It was designed for a tired businessman with sacks of dollars, a saluki, and 2 mistresses. The room is puzzled by me, and I by it. The room wants to know why I am not watching the business news. It wants to know why I have no laptop and no mobile phone and no phone calls that require me to stand by the window in a dressing gown, talking animatedly to Bill and Bob and Nihar and Emma, Room 1654, Hotel Crown Plaza. This is my love poem for you. Room, you are larger than my home in Bombay. Room, you have 24 hours running water. I wake up sometimes to dabble my fingers in fresh flowing streams. Room, you offer me a view of the city spread out like a gold souk. Room, you have 4 paintings, 2 in the toilet, and I would study these paintings when I am on the pot, but one of them is behind my head. Room, you cost 1950 dirhams a day, not inclusive of 10% municipal tax and 10% service tax, and that's more than I've ever earned for my poetry. Room, I can barely sleep here because I can't bear to think that I might waste 1 dirham of that rental. Room, your lights. There's one near my bed, near my head, which turns itself off if I just brush my fingers past it. I touch it, I touch it, I touch it again. I touch it on, off, on, off. Room, you've made me a pervert. Room, your air. It's cool, it's clean, air as it should be. I have a cold now and a running nose. My system is not used to this. Room, your bed. Should you be so yielding? Have you no self-respect, room? Come, let me go. Room of 4 pillows. Room of a minibar emptied before my arrival because I have no credit card. Room filled with chocolate bars and pistachio nuts that I would be a fool to eat at those prices. Room, I'm going to bed now. You should sleep too. Stop looking at me, room. And please, this transparent door, this picture window to the shower. Room, I'd like to have some privacy, please. Room, keep this between us. But I'm going to take the soap, the shampoo, the conditioner, the shower gel, the shower cap, the pencil, the pen, the envelopes, the writing pad, the tea bags, the coffee powder, the extra sugar, the soft slippers, and one big, fat, white, virginal towel.
It was such a visual treat.
Jerry, do you want to read one of the translations?
Okay, yeah,
I'll get it.
yeah.
I'll get it. While you read.
I'll read a poem about the making of poetry. Okay. It's a bit of a naughty poem, but we've already had the F word here. So, night lines. Just for this moment, I am of the opinion that poetry should be made in bed. Ah, exactly like that. Just what you're thinking. Like sex. The same dissolution, the same delight, the same expectations, the same detritus of disappointment and satisfaction and justification. Hold on a moment while I dust the bed. Did you hear all those abstract nouns fall clinking, clinkling, action, iction, negation, all of them falling to the ground? Start again. I want to make poetry in bed in shorts and jabba, with chocolate wrappers to attract black ant ideas, slight, frantic ideas, easily lost or squashed ideas, not one valuable in itself, but together a force of nature, yes, a hive mind more than the individual. Something primitive now about these sheets, something soft, slick, rich with mean. This meanness would make the poem thick, sludgy, capable of what I am capable of. In bed, my limbs loose and my defenses wrapped up somewhere behind my knees. I am capable of so much and so much. Here I dream and I drowse. I plan to die here one day. No, I don't want this to be a big poem, so I'll stop here and I'll watch this poem curl up between my pillow and the wall. You want me to do plain? I think one of the things that, okay, really seriously now, my discovery was that you should give yourself permission to fail. You should say it is possible to just do bad stuff and get on with it. It's all right. You don't always have to be a genius, and always have to be. That sounded a bit. You can just try. Okay, that's the thing I thought. And so I started translating, and then I started translating Marathi poetry from the 13th century, and I thought I was going to fail, but this one, this Muktabai poem, I think I got dead on. Okay. So it is, first came joy, and on the morrow, hard on her heels, a visit from sorrow. Just as we settled down to grieving, joy announced that she was leaving. Joy and sorrow, what's the difference? Both are sisters, born of ignorance. Muktai tells Sangya, self-born the soul, standing like a banyan, aloof and whole. Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. And next time there'll be some ghazals, I hope, from In English.